Hello, my name's Mark Burnell, and as a founding member of the Equine Dental Association, I'd like to explain a bit about the history of the association and how we developed our training program. Horse dentistry is nothing new in Australia, and myself personally, I learned off an older gentleman who was retiring. And back in the early 80s when I took up horse dentistry, I was very lucky to meet this man, Ted McLean, but he learned off his father. So they had a father-to-son business that ran for nearly 100 years, which I continued on. And in that time, the only way you could learn horse dentistry was either to be taught by someone that was looking to retire, or you were lucky enough to be the son of someone that was a practicing dentist. So here's a picture of me with Ted in 1988, just to prove I haven't always had grey hair. But Ted there, he's 68 years of age, and we're at Jeff Murphy's stables doing a mare called Ranchita, who was quite a good 2-year-old and went on to be a very successful broodmare. So his father did horses' teeth. You have to imagine a time where there were no cars, so horses did most of the hard work. Your bread was delivered by horse and cart, your milk, they ploughed the fields, they delivered wood if you were building a house or bricks. They did a lot of the things as well as being ridden. And of course, Cobb & Co, they pulled the main form of transport across Australia. So horse dentistry was something that was practiced a long time ago. I have here some of the tools that were given to Ted by his father in 1937, and really not a lot has changed. Well, horses' teeth certainly haven't changed in the last 100 years. So all these different instruments were used for a variety of causes. Even the tools. Here we have some rasps that are made specifically for doing Clydesdales. You can see the head's a lot wider, and they'd cut down a farrier's rasps. Here's something you'd use on thoroughbreds with a slimmer finish to it, much like the modern design of handheld rasp today follows exactly the same principles of getting up around the cheeks of the 6th upper molar to remove the first initial sharp points, which create an ulcer in the cheek and affect the horse's ability to eat. So these are the tools that I use or have for the last 30 odd years, and you can see they're of a similar design. The only thing that is different is the blades are far more superior than the old carbon rasp. Here we have tungsten carbide. So these lasted a lot longer and they're far sharper than what we used to use. But pretty much all the other implements for removing caps, molar caps, incisor caps, nothing really has changed. And of course the gag. So it was in the mid-80s that I went to America to do the first course anywhere in the world. It was a day and a half, and that's where I realised the difference between a certificate of attendance versus a certificate of attainment. Around the same time in Victoria, all the dentists that were practicing were very fortunate to have the support of the Victorian Horse Council, Alex Morgan, and the vet, Dr. Colin Bassett. I think he was president of the Veterinary Association at the time. They helped us form an association, helped us write a constitution, and then we set about formalising the training to take it away from the traditional path, which was to learn off someone who'd practiced it for many years or take over their business. We thought as a group that it would be a good thing that if someone was to learn dentistry, that they learn off several or ideally 10 or 15 different people who knew how to do horses' teeth, because they all had slightly different techniques, which could be really useful for the students to learn that there's more than one way to achieve an outcome. It's competency-based learning, which means you have to prove you're proficient at the skill. There's no online training or sitting in front of a computer, very little written exams, because it's more about the practical skill and applying the knowledge to do horses' teeth in a humane manner. And the most important thing is to improve the welfare of the horse. So regardless of the age of the horse or the condition of its teeth, you're improving its efficiency in converting food into energy. So a lot of the old stuff that we used to see around, here I have a drenching bit from the First World War, and it would, before they really got into stomach tubing, so this would be put in the horse's mouth. Most of the stables had a steel eyelet in the roof. They'd pull the horse's head up in the roof and they'd pour the medicine down the funnel. And in the centre of this bit, whoops, sorry boy, you can see there's a small hole. So all of the medicine would come down the funnel and out the hole, and hopefully not too much over the horse or the person holding the horse, and hopefully it went down into its stomach and helped it. So horse dentistry is continuously evolving. The Equine Dental Association of Australia has a long-standing record of producing professional people to go out and do sensible horse dentistry and give good advice to horse owners. So if you're thinking of doing a course, it's probably the hardest course in the world, but it's well worth doing because the outcome is good employment in a fun job.